Nothing fancy, just rip the show in half and we'll put it out on 2 different days. Listen, I am so sorry. Tara is waving at me. She needs you to talk. We need to get a level on your mic. How's your kids?
Kids are good. I was talking with Max last night. He was talking about the daytime.
Yeah.
Talking about how the days are getting longer. He was conflating which pole the days get longer at.
Oh, yeah.
And he was talking about something he saw on Nova. And I was like, well, buddy, I think that was actually at the South Pole because the South Pole is the only one that has land.
Yeah.
Like there's no land at the North Pole. And he immediately looks at me and says, well, wait, how does Santa live on the North Pole then? And I was like, oh, fuck. Oh, Christ. I was like, no, dude, it's a bunch of ice.
Oops.
It looks like land if you were there. He lives on the ice, and it's okay because he's on the ice. And I'm like, please buy this. Please,
Yeah,
please buy.
sure.
The days are numbered that how long he's going to believe in the fat guy in the red suit.
Buy it, please.
It's more like the Principality of Sealand, son. He lives on an old military base is really where he is. And what's funny is the North Pole is the only place where gambling is
4,
illegal online.
3,
It's nice.
2.
The Alpha Company presents a truly terrible podcast. Welcome to Nonsense, Season 3, Episode 9. I'm Jeff Parker.
I'm Jensen Wong's personal robot.
This is our take on the week's business, tech, and almost never entertainment headlines. This time, we'll look at a practical way science has improved our health fairly recently by banning smoking in public places.
We should ban it everywhere, public and private. That's what I want.
It's Quirky Country Music Song Titles Day. You know, this day segment, I've been wanting to cut this for so long.
Sure.
But I think this is delightful. Quirky Country Music Song Titles, it to me is absolutely delightful. I'm going to give you a couple of my favorites. You ready?
All right, please.
Loretta Lynn and Conway Twitty had a song called You're the Reason Our Kids Are Ugly.
Oh my God, that's great. That is not real. That's an Onion headline. There's no way that's real.
No, that's real. Jerry Reed had a song called She Got the Gold Mine, I Got the Shaft. The Offenders had a song.
Yeah.
I still miss you, baby, but my aim's getting better.
Wait, I still miss you, baby, but what?
I still miss you, baby, but my aim's getting better.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good. These are all real country songs?
Real country song titles.
Wow.
Deanna Carter has one. Did I shave my legs for this?
These are great.
Dan Hicks has one. How can I miss you if you won't go away? Which, by the way, that's a line I've used 1,000 times.
Every single one of these is a fucking Rodney Dangerfield joke. Every single one.
Oh, totally. Travis Tritt has a song. Here's a quarter. Call someone who cares.
Well, that's just a statement.
Chuck Mead. She got the ring and I got the finger.
This is some like Emmy award-winning writing right here. They wasted them on songs.
It's not bad. Louise Setzer has one. Mama, get the hammer. There's a fly on Papa's head.
This is straight up a Dr. Demento episode now. That's what we've become.
And Jimmy Buffett has one. If the phone doesn't ring, it's me.
That's a Jimmy Buffett song. That's pretty fantastic.
It's great.
All right, so we should just now go through titles of songs. That should be our new thing.
Country songs. How is your week going?
Well, I was doing pretty good, but it's way better now that I have all these country songs I need to go look up and listen to. As you know, as most of our listeners I think know, we weren't here last week. So I filled our normal nerd time of talking with nerd time of building IoT devices out of electronics.
Yeah.
And
Internet of Things.
Sorry, yes. For those that aren't of the nerd nature. Here's what's amazing. You can, for literally single-digit dollars, buy these little tiny chips. You know this. I don't know why I'm telling you this. That have full-on Wi-Fi stack, Bluetooth low energy, thread.
Matter over thread.
It's incredible. For like
amazing.
For like $4.
$8.
It's insane.
Oh.
I buy the cheap ones.
I pay too much then.
You buy the ones in Beverly Hills. I'm buying the ones on AliExpress. But it's really cool. And now it's woken up this part of my brain that has not been active for 25 years of actually, I'm very excited to lay down an actual PCB and design actual components.
PCB?
A printed circuit board, sir. Thank you.
There you go.
Using all open source software. It's super interesting. So I have been knee deep in this. I'm building a couple cute little things to support my up and coming 3D printer farm, as well as some things I think my kids will enjoy, and really just screwing around with all this IoT stuff, which I feel like now is it's been accessible for a while, but now it's like throwaway accessible. Like I spend more on a latte at Starbucks than to build these devices. You can 3D print cases for them.
And the devices have gotten so good.
It's crazy. I mean,
it's amazing.
Like I'm debating between these two different miniature chips because one pulls 20 microamps in deep sleep, the other one pulls 3.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wait, and by the way,
one's made for a battery.
It's a 32-bit processor that runs at like 80 megahertz, which is fucking bananas.
And it costs you nothing.
It was like $3 on a board, soldered. It's nuts.
Fantastic.
So anyway, I've been completely nerding out on that, and it's been a lot of fun. How about you? How was your week?
As you know, I was traveling. I went to Japan.
Yes. And you ate everything.
First trip. Loved love the food, love the people, love how clean Japan is.
Yeah.
Love the fancy toilets, by the way.
Have all those in my house. My house is full of total toilets.
I got serious jet lag going.
Yeah, you are on jet lag. I can tell. I got over to Donut, had already had dinner. And I was like, oh, all right.
I'm so messed up.
Go to Kyoto?
Yes, Kyoto was another one. The bullet train.
Yeah.
Have you ridden the bullet train?
No.
This is the coolest thing I've ever been on.
Yeah.
It's 200 miles an hour, and it feels like the smoothest ride you've ever taken anywhere.
With another $120 billion of your own money, we can have a train that goes 60% as fast as that.
No, California's high-speed rail is going to go actually faster than that.
No, I thought it was like 160.
Yeah.
Really?
220.
All right, I'm in. All right, I'll get first billions on me.
The amazing thing to me is when the bullet train passes the bullet train going the other direction.
Sure.
And now you're seeing 400 miles an hour.
Of course, I know. That's pretty
And
fucking
that's
fast.
crazy.
Yeah, sure.
Those trains don't feel like they're far enough apart. I mean, they are because they've obviously figured this out.
Sure.
But man, it's remarkable. You don't realize how fast you're going until you pass into the train and you go, wow, we are flying. And my kid was watching videos on some device.
It's called a phone, Jeff.
I don't really understand it because out the window,
Oh, don't do it.
we're doing 200 miles an hour.
Don't do it. Oh my God. We're at the Smithsonian. Get off your phone. John Glenn landed on the... Oh, fucking grandpa, shut up.
My kid spent his spring break with us in Japan.
Super cool.
And that was absolutely delightful.
Totally.
I absolutely loved the time I got to spend with him.
Yeah, that's really fun. Could talk all day about Japan. We should just take out entertainment on this show and make it tech, business, in Japan.
I'm in. Cod, some of the best cod I've ever had.
That's your people's food.
Yeah, it's so good. I got to move us forward.
Yeah,
So we move
please.
to our headlines.
Yes, please.
23andMe declares bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Chapter 11 filing. 23andMe has filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, indicating it intends to reorganize its finances. I don't think that's true. I think Nwajicki has resigned in order to try to purchase it herself.
Oh, yeah. She's already tendered an offer, right? The board said no.
Yeah.
The board said get fucked.
Yeah, well, as they should. I mean, they're going to try to sell off all of the assets. What assets are left of the company?
Yeah, I mean, this is why bankruptcy court exists, right? Is like the assets should go to the bankruptcy court and they decide what's best for the creditors. Like that's what should happen. That makes perfect sense to me. I don't know that I'm assuming her offer was not as good as they felt they could get at market.
She can probably buy the pieces out of bankruptcy for a lot less money and now stripped of all obligations.
Yeah, of course. What's nuts about this is this thing was valued at like what, $6 or $7 billion a couple years ago, like 3-4 years ago.
25 million now.
Yeah, now it's I think it's trading under 25 million bucks. Their statement to the bankruptcy court was like I'm paraphrasing only slightly here. They have revenues between $1 and $500 million and liabilities between $1 and $500 million. And I was like, wow, that's quite a spread, guys. You would think you'd have one of those tightened up. I don't know, maybe both of them.
Sure.
Has the CFO role been seated by an Etch-a-Sketch for the past 4 years? How the fuck are you off by what potentially could be 5x? Like that just seems massive.
Now, I've never done anything like 23andMe. Have you sent your DNA in to be analyzed?
Well, I've sent my DNA in, but not this way.
No.
It was a different, I don't think, we're not talking about the same thing.
No, sure.
No, I have not. So here's the truth. I have bought several kits from various companies. And then every single time as I kind of reach in to look at their privacy policy and thought about it, I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this. So I have empty kits sitting in my office that I've never used, not just because of my data, but also the exposure that it does for your family potentially.
Your family,
which is like one of those things where you just don't know like what crazy Uncle Al did. Yeah.
I'm sure I have crazy family members who have sent their DNA.
I'm half fucking Italian.
You only need 2 or 3 of them and they can triangulate you.
Yeah, all of a sudden they tie it back to some rolled up carpet that was dumped off the side of a pier in Jersey. And they're just like, oh, well, because this asshole gave us your DNA, we found your great uncle so-and-so.
We know it's you.
Well, that doesn't seem far from the truth. Here's, I think, the bigger problem. Okay, so
privacy.
Bankruptcy court exists for this. Yeah, the privacy is the bigger concern.
Yeah.
They, being 23andMe, has said, oh, don't worry, whoever buys this will have to comply with all regulation and laws, which I believe. The problem is there is no real regulation around this.
Right.
I mean, unless if you're a California resident, you have some modicum of protection because California, backward ass, terrible state that it is, we actually have required that there's some sort of privacy protection for consumers. And I know this is terrible, but that's what Gavin had to do to get those billions of dollars into his pocket is he had to allow the CCPA to exist somehow. I don't know how. I don't know who paid him, but whatever the fucking TikTok is that they're extorting money.
But you can get your data back because of it. You can delete it. If you're a California resident.
Yes, if you're a California resident, you can actually make a request that they supposedly have to reply to within 45 days, 145-day extension, to delete your data. Yeah. And that does not exist. I don't think for anybody else in the U.S. If you GDPR, you have some ability to do this. But California has led the charge on this. And I know, again, I'm going to get all sorts of fucking hate mail about how the bureaucracy and bullshit of California, it's consumer rights.
Yeah, no, it's great.
You would think for your own DNA, you would have some fucking modicum of protection at the federal level. There's none. There's none that I know of.
Do you believe they're actually going to delete your data?
That's the interesting question. Delete is a really hard thing. Having wrestled with this on the other side, having to fend GDPR requests, and you go, okay, well, I want to delete it out of the database, right? Okay, you delete it and it's gone, and you can represent that it's gone, and you can attest that it's gone. Fine. What about all your backups? What do you do about that?
Yeah.
Right? You can't destroy your backups. I think the way that I've seen this implemented, it's supposed to be
you keep a table of everything you've deleted, and if you ever have to go back to a backup,
so you can always roll forward
Right,
if you had to, and then you hope at some time that those fall off. The reality is, in especially even like enterprise grade software, your backups become very unvaluable very quickly. Meaning a backup from a year ago doesn't do you a lot of value.
Sure.
So you can roll those off, and I think that's been the procedure most of these places use. Is they say, hey, look, in N days, 45 days, everything's gone. So if I delete your data, the risk of it coming back is over 45 days. If we've got a meltdown, we have to restore. But we can play forward on this table. I think that's the basic process. So to answer your question, I think it is productively deleted from production when you request it or when they process the request. And then you're actually fully removed from the system in some number of days that they specify, hopefully less than, let's say, 90, because then all the backups are gone.
Now, that's a company who's behaving ethically who does that.
Okay. Which companies are those?
Yeah, exactly. Then there are lots of companies who just don't actually delete the data, but pretend that they did.
Oh, I love it when they're like, oh, sure, we'll delete your data. Oh, you're not sure if we have it? Okay, just give us your name, social security number, date of birth, the last 16 of your credit card, and we'll go ahead and delete your data.
That's exactly what happens when you call the data broker. Because you can call data brokers and you can ask them to delete your data too. And they'll say, what's your name?
Yeah, totally.
Because we need to know who you are.
Of course. What's your address? Got to prove it.
Okay, what's your social? What's your pet's name? I got to make sure it's you.
Pet's name.
Got to make sure it's you.
What's the name of the street you grew up on?
What's your first grade teacher's name?
What was your favorite teacher's name in high school?
Totally.
I love them just going through all of them. That should be my new open when I meet people in real life. And be like, oh, hey, my name's CJ. Oh, what's yours, Bob? Yeah, okay. What street did you grow up on? That should just be the immediate second question that you ask. Oh, really?
What was your first pet's name?
And then write it down. After they tell you, just be like, oh, and then just write it down.
Fascinating.
Tell me more.
Tell me more.
Your sports? What's your favorite sports team? Oh, the Dodgers. Oh, interesting.
I'm moving us forward. Trump's war planning signal group accidentally added a journalist. Now, this story's been around for a few days now. It's not any big news, but the interesting part of it, and I don't know why the press does not seem to cover this, they added Jeffrey Goldberg from The Atlantic to their chat group. This is illegal. And I don't think anything is going to be done by it. This violates the Federal Records Act, which mandates that federal agencies, including the Executive Office of the President, must properly document their activities. And this is absolutely going against that in every possible way.
So you actually, I think, broke this for me. You sent this to me first. And I literally had to double check that it wasn't an Onion article.
Of course.
It's literally this world I live in now where I'm like, oh, the fucking Onion, of course.
Yeah.
They're just using Signal. And I was like, oh, it's not the Onion. Oh, wait.
No, it's real.
Yeah, it's real. Okay, let's talk about the pros first. Let's talk about the good things.
Okay.
Glad you're using Signal.
That part's fine. The security is
for
fine.
Communication, it's great. Well, the security in transit is fine, but you still don't know the endpoint that you're talking to. I would hope.
That's a huge problem. None of these people are vetted or cleared.
It's insane. Fucking insane. So, yeah, I'm not stoked about that. You would think they could do better.
Signal has no process for retaining records for the federal records.
Yeah, of course. Which again is great.
They're never going to get in trouble for that because who's going to ever pursue that?
I think that answers your own question, right? Why is this not being covered by the rest of the news?
They just don't care.
Well, there's no consequence. What's the consequence?
Yeah.
We are in a consequence-free nation. So who cares about the FRA? Just
on brighter topics, Boston Dynamics and Nvidia each show new humanoid robots.
Oh, funny that you call it bright. Okay, sure. The Nvidia one was bright, right? That was
They're
really cute.
so cool.
Yeah.
The videos, the links are in the show notes. Please watch them. Prepare to have your minds blown.
But first of all, hold on. The Nvidia one was this partnership between them and DeepMind and Disney.
Yeah.
And that thing that came out, BB9, what the hell it was.
Super cute.
It just reeked of Disney Imagineering all over it because it was so cute and had these little movements and stand there.
And you think it's a puppet. You think it's like a Jim Henson puppet.
Yeah. You think like Frank Oz is back there moving the thing around.
Right.
I am assuming that it was legit and there wasn't some dude in the back controlling it. I'm assuming that it was.
It's NVIDIA chips and NVIDIA.
And seeing Jensen on stage with it was really cute and it was really fun and it was really interesting to show the promise of what's there. That was lovely.
Now you're going to contrast that with...
Yes, the Boston Dynamics robot, which you're going to watch this video. You're probably going to have the same basic arc that I had, which was, wow, that thing's moving really good.
It moves in an amazing human-like way.
It's human-like. It's very controlled. It doesn't look like it's going to fall over at any point.
You think there's a human in this suit, except for the fact that no human could ever fit in that suit.
Well, I know some pretty thin people, but still.
That's really thin.
Then it starts doing these like army crawls where it's like in this like prone position. I'm like, wow, that's pretty good. And then the fucking thing does like a backflip where it twists its hips 180 degrees and lands.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, don't do that. That's not okay. That's not like, because once you take all the human anatomy and you go, well, what if everything was double jointed?
Yeah, sure.
And still work, and then you're just like, oh fuck, it's a Gumby doll that's like on steroids, which is not what you want.
Can do way more than a human can do.
Well, that was the other thing, and then it did. And then of
balance
course,
is better.
It finishes the fucking video with a cartwheel, and I'm like, now you're just shaming fat people everywhere.
Oh.
Like that's
I thought the cartwheel's amazing. You can hear the people in the background when they're shooting this thing, when it does the cartwheel.
Yeah.
You can hear the gasps.
Sure.
They're gobsmacked that this works.
I think instead of like Boston Dynamics, we need like the B version of that company out of like Trenton. There should be like Trenton Dynamics, and it's just a bunch of fat robots, just like lithium batteries that are all swollen and overcharged. They just go to the whatever the hometown power buffet is, and they just overcharge. And it's basically just a robot version of me that's just waddling around, kind of sort of doing tasks, but like because the problem is the robot fingers, they're chunky. They're like little robot sausage fingers. So they have a hard time grabbing onto things. That I would watch. That would be a robot where I'd be like, yeah, this is a robot that's like, it's going to do what I do, just slightly faster, not fucking 180 retwisted to hips during a goddamn handstand.
You're thinking you're going to be safe upstairs from the robot. Not anymore.
Oh, no. That worked up until 2025, everybody.
Yeah.
Now the robot comes up and finds you upstairs and just laughs at you and then does some sort of fucking cartwheel summer kick into your face. And you're just like, oh, that happened. Yeah, we're doomed. It's all over.
Watch the videos in the show notes. Great fun. Apple is struggling with AI.
Which is odd because it is literally Apple Intelligence. You would think Apple would have a heads up.
You'd think they could get that right.
Apple Intelligence.
Robbie Walker, senior director at Apple, has acknowledged the delays to key features have been both ugly and embarrassing.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is what happens with vaporware.
That's the problem. That's the story.
Yeah.
This is vaporware. They promised it. They pitched it at whatever the thing was, WWDC.
Yeah.
And they proceeded to not produce it.
Well, look, I don't think they've been on holiday. I think they've been working their asses off on it. I think they bit off a lot. They have a history of this, I presume. Like they always would announce things, usually on WWDC time, that would be like, oh, that's kind of grandiose. And then you go look at the betas and you're like, well, it's not there yet. But then it always gets there. It always gets there and it's in time. Maybe there's a point release afterwards.
They make the deadline.
And this one was more of a like, hey, here's this thing. And then a month at WWDC, they're like, well, it's going to be in, the 0.1 release. And then they're like, well, yeah, 0.2. And then like,
maybe the next iPhone. Sure.
Hey, maybe the iPhone 19. We don't know. We can't be sure. Which, by the way, is typically how hard software projects go. They've just managed to sort of thread the needle year over year. That I don't know that to be true. I've assumed this. Because I always made this presumption that they had learned their lesson in the past, as a lot of aged software developers have, and they go, let's not announce shit that we can't deliver. Right. Let's actually have it,
or at least things we're not 90% of the way there on.
Well, yeah, but I don't know, 90-10, 10-90 rule. I've been there, done that. But I always feel like I always assumed that they had their shit figured out, and they're like, all we got to do is go, update the comments before we deploy this thing, and it's good to go. That was my assumption.
We're going to do some reformatting of the curly braces. Yeah.
Yeah. Just tabs to spaces, because fucking Steve still uses spaces, and fuck Steve. Like something like that, right? Something that was just like completely discreet and innocuous.
Yeah.
But now I wonder if that's actually been the case. I wonder if they've always been close, like you said, maybe 90-10 or 80-20 or something like that, but they knew they could get it across the line. And then here, feeling behind on AI,
they got caught.
They kind of got caught. And I do still think, I think you and I disagree on this, but I do still believe that their aspirations for AI are very grandiose and in the best eye of the consumer that I've seen so far. They're trying to do something harder in many ways than a lot of what's out there. And I think that's admirable, certainly. But it's also really, really fucking hard.
We'll see if they're able to achieve it. I mean, the pitch that I saw at WWDC, my feeling was, this is nonsense.
Really?
Yeah.
Give me your top 3 parts of nonsense out of that, or top 1, whatever.
The fact that it's going to their servers and they're still claiming that you have complete privacy because you have some private section of their servers. No, once the data goes to them, you have control of the data, even though you have these private enclaves, you call them.
Yeah.
You have these special private servers. Just because you give it a name does not mean that there's any privacy at all.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not convinced that privacy is necessary for AI. I'm not necessarily selling the idea that they have to do this.
Well, it's definitely not. But it's definitely not necessary. However, it does add a huge layer.
Yeah, just pitch your AI as being not private, and then go ahead and make it, and fine, then figure out privacy.
Yeah, sure, the data's gone across the wire. They could be doing something else with it, but I think they took the best possible approach from a design perspective of, here's a thing that's auditable that says we're not grabbing your data, we're not stealing your data.
But again, they were never clear about how you got to do the audit.
Well, here's why I think. They hadn't figured it out yet.
Sure.
Like somewhere on a whiteboard, somebody wrote audit. And they went, oh yeah, fuck yeah, we'll make it auditable. And then
solves the problem.
Yeah, and then marketing came along and like, auditable? Oh yeah, fuck, we're gonna pump that up. That's gonna be the top bullet. And they're like, how does it work? And they're like, oh, I gotta go to lunch.
No idea.
There's a sale.
Absolutely no idea.
It's Tuesday. I'm gonna get a sandwich. Like that's my assumption. But I do think they're gonna deliver on most of that. However, I don't know. Look, we've had missed products before from everybody, including Apple.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, they still didn't have whatever the special magic supercharger was that was going to charge phones and
your watches and all of that shit. Else, right.
You know, like
I think they finally gave up on that.
Oh, they did. They pulled the ripcord on that and just like we're done. Yeah. Which, by the way, fine. But that was a piece of vaporware where I feel like that was sold.
It was promised,
certainly not delivered.
Right.
Yeah.
You can now show Google's Gemini AI things with your camera phone.
Whoa! They put a camera in the phone. That's amazing.
Now you can show the AI thing. Gemini now has the power to read and see everything through your phone's camera. The feature is gradually coming to all Gemini users, and some of them have even tried the new Gemini ability for Android users. It actually can look at your screen.
Sure.
If you give it permission.
Yeah, sure.
And it can help you with things on the screen, which is amazing.
Again, all cloud-based, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Zero privacy here. Okay. There is no promise of privacy. You are using Gemini. Yes.
Screenshots get posted to Usenet. Yeah, okay. Understood. Yeah. That's interesting. I kind of weep at the amount of processing power and just energy that's being consumed behind this. Like, it's hard for me to look at that and someone to be like, look, it told me where the nearest French fries are. And you're just like, fuck. That just used like 8 megawatts of power to tell some fat ass where to waddle to.
And about 12 gallons of water.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that part I'm not excited about. I am excited that we're still trying to figure out and really push the envelope on what we can get AI to do for us that is helpful.
Yeah.
2/3 of the shit's not going to be helpful, but you got to do that to find the 1/3 that is, or the 20% that is.
Of course.
And that's super interesting to me.
I think this is really cool. I love talking to Gemini. That's one of my favorite things. And that's partially why I'm kind of partial to Gemini, because you can select whatever voice you want. You can make it talk fast.
Yeah, sure.
And it's great because I ask it tons of questions on the fly like I'm talking to a human, and it gives me back the answers very, very quickly. It's fantastic.
And you can never hear it roll its eyes, like with my wife.
No, I can hear that. Doesn't hide it that well.
Oh, fuck. Here's about open source again. All right. Yeah, Jeff, open source is the best. That's just it placating you the entire time. This is interesting to me, the Gemini progress. I kind of feel like, and this has been alluded to from folks at Google, maybe it's hype, maybe not. But I kind of feel like they were ahead on AI in many ways.
Oh, for years.
Kind of, we're leaving it in the can, right? Because they had processing power. Yeah. They certainly have the fucking data, right? They've got more of the data than anybody else on the planet, at least then. And they were just like, well, our Kodak moment isn't here yet, right? We're not like, we don't want to eat our own lunch. And then you get the open AIs of the world that come along and sort of push, and they're like, oh shit, we actually have to do something with this.
Right.
And now I feel like you're seeing these pretty big strides, month over month, or quarter over quarter. Yeah. And not just catching up, but also like leading in ways, like just thinking outside of just the AI engine, the application of it, because we know that a bunch of those ways are not going to work. And you got to throw a bunch of different options out there to see what does work. And I think this is pretty interesting that they're doing this. So I'm a fan. I don't think Google's going to get left in the dust. I think they're going to find a way. It might come at a significant cost to their revenue, but better for them to eat their own lunch than someone else. That's the Kodak lesson. And then that does make me question, and this is not for our headlines now, but for a future segment. If Google had been broken up before this, would they be able to survive this? Right? That does make a very interesting consumer question.
Yeah, these are long-term, deep pocket projects for sure. So, I mean, it's the same thing with the self-driving cars. This is not a 10-year project. This is not a decade project. This is a multi-decades project.
Yeah.
Not many people can do that. Not many people can think that way.
So if you're broken up, I generally think that that's net beneficial for the consumer and for the shareholder. I don't know in this case if it is, because if they were broken up, would they be able to survive this and rebuild a new thing? Would they have the asset to do that? Yeah. And I think the counter argument is, well, then you go to private markets to get capital to build the thing. Like, there's still a path. It's just not the Google way, because they're controlling all their own equity.
Sure. I don't know the answer to that. Either. We haven't seen the end of the Google case. It still seems to be, in the Trump administration, still seems to be very much alive. As much as he seems to be buddies with all the titans of tech.
Playing card.
Cases continue. The cases continue.
Yeah, playing card. I don't know. I don't see that going away. I mean, they've already re-pursued M&A that was otherwise quiet over the past couple of years. So I feel like, sure, you want to keep the sword of Damocles hanging over their head for a little while longer, right? You keep that playing card out there, but I think the reality is it gets called off.
We'll see where it goes.
I don't see them getting broken up, but we'll see.
Nearly every CyberTruck is being recalled. U.S. safety regulators on Thursday recalled virtually all CyberTrucks on the road. The 8th recall of the Tesla-made vehicles since deliveries to customers began just over a year ago.
Yeah, and this one was interesting because they're just recalling them because they're ugly. They said, we just want to round off some of the corners.
They should do that. That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, like Like a bunch of people with vision got together and said, you know what?
I got a few other cars they should take off the road too if we're doing that.
The Pontiac Aztec while you're at it.
They're not all Teslas.
I don't know a ton about this. What appears to be happening are some panels are blowing off like at speed.
The adhesive is bad.
Yeah, the adhesive. Well,
in extreme environment conditions, the panel comes off.
AKA the cold, I think is what we're seeing. I think we're seeing cold environments. The adhesive is failing, and they're blowing off. And I think the solution is they have a new glue.
Yeah,
like I think they went down to Home Depot.
That is a solution.
And they bought some Gorilla Glue, and they're like, "This shit's amazing," and they just fucking squirt on everything and glue it on. And as a guy who owns a vehicle that is primarily held together with adhesive, that people would make fun of because like, oh, you gotta rivet that, bolt that shit together, and it's like, no, the
adhesive is fine. You just have to use the right adhesive.
The folks at Lotus would get really grumpy if you called it a glue. They'd be like, "It's not a glue, it's an adhesive," and I'd be like, "All right, okay, sure."
I mean, what's the difference? I'm not familiar with what the difference is.
I think adhesive sounds more proper, right? Like it's an adhesive,
but it's the same thing. I get just the same gluing it together.
I get it. The panels on that car that I remove often, I literally held on with Velcro, and it worked just fine.
I'm sure. I have no problem with the adhesive. My only issue with this is these panels have been flying off since these cars were released.
Sure. Yeah.
They've known about this for a very long time.
Yeah, it's a feature, not a bug. It's a feature. Add lightness. That's what it is.
It took the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration to cause this recall, to force this recall for them to do this.
And now I don't know a lot about the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. However, what I have observed is that a lot of car companies, they really don't like to be recalled. So typically what they'll do is like a voluntary warranty extension for things.
Yeah, sure.
And I don't know if this one was bad enough that they felt it had to be recalled. My hunch is that's not the case. My hunch was instead Tesla said,
it's bad. If a part flies off on the road and is now on the road dancing around on the highway behind you, that's a problem.
Yeah. No, trust me, I get it. I've driven on the freeways in LA. How much shit I see coming flying out of trucks and garbage on the road. Like it's terrible. Yeah. So I don't know if they said this is bad enough that we've got to get in front of it, or if Tesla said we're not interested in fixing this. And then they had like the NHTSA had no choice but to recall it. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, plenty of vehicles I own have had recalls. Recalls. Let me put that in quotes, where the manufacturer said, we're going to extend the warranty on this for, 5 years.
Right.
And allow you to come in for a replacement in lieu of a recall, right? They basically do that to keep
because
the recall
mostly those things aren't problems. I have a couple of those things on my car.
Sure.
And I have no problems with the things they're talking about. So they're saying, if you have problems, but in my case, there's no problem. It's no problem, or else I would take it in.
Yeah.
And so it's just, this is not an issue. We're going to extend the warranty on this.
Yeah,
if you do decide you have a problem with, come in, get it fixed. It'll be all good.
Yeah, I guess it's a good point.
That's not what's happening here.
Large piece of metal flying off at speed. Yeah, you're right. Those are different apples.
That's not what's happening here. 46,000 CyberTrucks. I think we were told there would be 1 million by now.
There are. They're just not deployed yet. They're all bunkers.
Where are the missing CyberTrucks?
I heard they're all going to be used as new USPS vehicles.
I'm sure they will be.
Could you imagine if this becomes the new post office truck? So instead of Michael, my fucking postal worker who shows up in that shitty little 1.4 liter, whatever that garbage truck is, he shows up in a Cybertruck. That'd be fantastic.
Aye.
All the mail in the back. Hey, can you help me push this thing up the hill? No, dude, that thing's like 8,000 pounds. You're on your own.
Have you seen the Mark Rober video where the Tesla is supposed to go through the Foghorn Leghorn? Not far. What's the Wile E. Coyote?
The Wile E.
wall?
Coyote. Yeah. You should break Foghorn Leghorn out of the.
I did.
Archives. Oh yeah, we should put that link in here. It's really good. It was what? It was a Tesla, like a Model 3 and a Volvo, I think, right? That he was testing. He's basically contrasting LiDAR versus a non-LiDAR system.
Yeah, sure.
With different tests.
We've said for a long time that LiDAR is essential for self-driving.
Yeah. The thing about the LiDAR that really surprised me from that video is he did like a wall of water test where they had like water shooting down. And I fully expected the LiDAR to not succeed at that one because the LiDAR is going to see the water and not see through it. And it kind of failed, but the second it went through the water, then it picked up the human mannequin and then stopped.
Yeah.
So it immediately worked as soon as it broke through the water. And that really impressed me. Yeah. Of course, that's not the headline. The headline was what Jeff is referring to here, which is they put up a painted, foam block, whatever, some nice screen that was probably 12 feet tall and 30 feet wide that looked like the backdrop straight up Wile E. Coyote.
Looks like the road is continuing.
Yeah. And of course, the LiDAR doesn't see it as the continuation of the road. It sees it as a giant opaque structure.
Sure, it sees a wall.
So the LiDAR stopped and just sort of looked at the driver and was like, duh, like there's a fucking wall right there.
What do you want to do here?
And of course, the Tesla just just accelerated right through it. And the best part of this video, you know it's going to go through the fucking wall. Like you already know based on the headline of the video. But the best part is they then cut to a camera shot behind the wall, and they left the mannequin of the kid behind the wall so that when the Tesla shoots through the wall, it also hits the kid.
Sure.
And of course, it had no chance of stopping for. But that part just made me smile. Or I was like, oh, and you took out the kid too. And of course, Rober's laughing the whole time. It was really well done. But yeah, hey, no, those Teslas they're great. They should definitely be valued at 150x the entire car industry combined, for sure. Yeah.
It's Amazon spring sales time. This is not really a headline. This is just a promotion.
We have so many promotions to get to.
Okay, enough with the headlines. In fact, enough with the episode. Tomorrow, we'll be back with our big story, which is about the smoking bans of the 90s and whether or not they were effective at all in achieving their goals. Until then, thanks for listening to this nonsense. I'm Jeff Parker.
I'm CJ Little.
Sayonara.